What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the platform and check out the content. And so, with that being said, man, I want to speak on. I made a video a little bit ago about LeBron James and his allies, right, and how effective or non-effective I thought his allies were. And I think that LeBron James's allies were non-effective because really outside of like being on these different platforms promoting his message, they really don't have a lot of pull, right? And so Michael Jordan have allies, but he has a different set of allies. Like you have some people on platforms that say that Michael Jordan is the GOAT, like you know, Stephen A. Smith thinks that Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Um, a lot of ex-basketball players and people who were in the league, they think that Michael was the GOAT, right? And so that's cool. So you got the same thing for LeBron James. But when it comes to like business connections, I think that's what's going to that's what's really going to separate LeBron James and Michael Jordan, like his Michael Jordan's business connections. But before we even get into the business connections, because the fans, you have like Michael Jordan fans, you have Michael Jordan has so many hardcore fans that guys who had the opportunity to see Magic play, Bird play, Mike, and Kobe and LeBron. So that's you talking about from the 80s to now, you're talking about like 45 years from 1980 to like right now, you're talking about 45 years of basketball that people have been able to watch, engage. That's a big sample size. Like I was able to watch like from 1980 until present day, all the ball players that played in the league, right? And now anything before 1980, I can't really speak to, like when it comes to like Jerry West and the guy, what's the guy name? Bill Russell, all those old guys who played like in the 70s and stuff like that. I didn't get to see those guys. So I don't really include those in that, those guys in a GOAT conversation. Right. But Michael Jordan fan base, you know, people who was able to follow Michael Jordan whole career, most of those people, like myself, think that Michael Jordan is a GOAT, and then so his fan base is strong. And that plays a part into his the other people that are backing him. Like when you talk about business connections, right? Because like if you look at Michael Jordan personally and LeBron James personally, like you have people who have came out and said that Michael Jordan's a jerk, LeBron James can be a jerk. You know what I mean? So you have some people on both sides of the fence who really don't like, from a personal standpoint, probably don't like both of them. So, but when you talk about from a business standpoint, Michael Jordan is better for business than LeBron James. And so that is that's another way that's going to catapult Michael Jordan to win this GOAT debate, which I called a Cold War. That's what's going to catapult them, right? And so here you see Phil Knight and Adam Silver. And so if you think about it, in this GOAT debate, in this GOAT debate, like, would it benefit Phil Knight to back Michael Jordan, or would it benefit Phil Knight to back LeBron James? And that's where the fans come in. Because if you Phil Knight and you're looking at tennis shoes, you're looking at like the merchandise that you sell like for Michael Jordan as compared to LeBron James, like it's a no-brainer. Like you're going to side with Michael Jordan. Um, I was just on the internet yesterday, and one of these like a pop-up, one of these pop-ups came up and they was advertising the retro Jordan 11s. And those Michael Jordan shoes is going for $350. Now, and I called my daughter because my daughter, she have a lot of Jordans. I got Jordans too, but for some reason I never bought the 11s. They didn't really appeal to me. But I asked, I said, "Hey, is this a good price, for these Jordans, $350?" He said, "Yeah, that's a good price because you're not gonna find them no cheaper nowhere else." And I'm like, wow. Hey, you talking about a guy, Michael Jordan, who been out the league since 2002, and his tennis shoes and his merchandise is still outselling LeBron's, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry combined. And he been out the league since 2002. So if I'm Phil Knight and I see Mike still moving merch like this, that's a no-brainer. Even if they bought LeBron James in and they backed LeBron James and they were saying, well, all right, let's see what LeBron James can do, see if he can overtake Mike. If he's going to be the next, if he's going to be the next GOAT, or or King James, or the chosen one, like they wanted him to be. But he couldn't live up to that. Mike Jordan just set the bar so high that LeBron James could never catch him. And here we are 20 something years later after Mike retired, and he's still blowing LeBron James and the current basketball players out the water, far as like merch and his effect, on that athletic gear market, man. So yeah, if you are Phil Knight, you gotta go with Michael Jordan on a bit, no, like, and I'm sure they probably probably have a good relationship. But just from a business standpoint, you gotta go with Michael Jordan. So that's one ally. Then so let's look at Adam Silver, right? If you Adam Silver and you have to choose between LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Now, when Michael Jordan was in the league, that's when the league was at its highest. Like that's when it was at its most popular. And then you compare that to LeBron James when the league was when he was the face of the league. That's when it was almost at its lowest, LeBron James. And so if you Adam Silver, what would you do, even from a business standpoint? What would you do? Like, who would you side with in that GOAT conversation? Again, looking at it from a business perspective, you don't have any choice but to you know hitch your wagon to Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan is that's the way, like the formula that they use in the league for the league to be successful is what I see right now. I see the league trending back towards that. And I see players now like Shea Gilgris Alexander, you know, is the future of the league. This guy has he's bringing back that mid-range shot. Mike and Kobe had their mid-range shot, was just was money in the bank. And Shea is doing the same thing. You got the other young kid that's in the championship now, like Tyrese Halliburton. Like his game also is a throwback. So the formula uh is going to change. And a part of that formula was the way that Mike and all those guys played in the 80s and the 90s and in the early 2000s, right? So you gotta go. If you are the NBA, you gotta go with that formula that worked back for y'all back in the day, because this player empowerment that the league is let go on for a while, that didn't work for the league. It didn't make the league any more popular. As a matter of fact, it hurt attendance, it hurt the ratings and stuff like that. And so LeBron James was, unfortunately, he was the face of the league during that time. And you got to think from a business standpoint. It just makes sense for like the allies that Mike have are more, have more pull than the allies that LeBron James have, and so Michael Jordan had a fans, he got the fan base, he has more pull in the fan base and that popularity. Then on top of that, from a business standpoint, it just makes more sense to to ally yourself with Michael Jordan. So I don't see any way that LeBron James can win this Cold War, this GOAT debate, man. It's just gotta be Mike that come out on top of this. If either one of these guys, if Phil Knight or Adam Silver was to take LeBron James' side in this GOAT debate and try to um like diminish Mike's stance in the history of the game, that just would be a poor business decision. I mean, it's an obvious business decision, and so that's why, unless you standing on the same side with Mike, you are on the wrong side of history. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, with that being said, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.